Welcome to the Baxter Effect Podcast. Your host, John Baxter. Another exciting talk today here in Orlando, Florida. It's a beautiful day here, and thank you all for joining. Basically, if you could like, share, comment, subscribe, we really appreciate it. Getting the message out on the future of medicine, and today is no different. We're going to talk about policy reform, AI, and the next wave of medicine. And that wave includes the technology that we've been working towards and many holistic health practitioners have been working for a long time. However, frequency medicine is not the most known thing, but I thought I would bring it up today that if you turn on the news, what you're seeing right now, you'll see three things dominating every conversation. Of course, our rising healthcare cost, our AI in medicine, which we deal with every day, and debates about what should or should not be allowed in public health. Each and every day I saw another thing about, 13 new peptides being released. So, of course, we're at an inflection point. Health systems have been built around, per se, just treating symptoms, and the rising cost of healthcare and the rising chronic disease is moving away from the old system and moving toward faster, more agile types of health technology and more toward regulating this type of chronic disease. So the conversation is shifting from a treatment-based system to a system-level health support system. And we knew this. This is just the common sense understanding of our healthcare system. If you find yourself new to my podcast, realize that we're covering advanced health technologies. I chose this a long time ago as my career, so I chose a category and topic that is not easy to access, understand, unless you have some awakening, unless you have some understanding of the current system, and you hang out in that system long enough, you start asking questions. And when you start asking questions, you'll see that today's podcast, again, is cutting edge, it's revolutionary, and it's going to help you get to point A to point Z in reference to the information that you need to know. I enjoy educating and informing the public on all this information. So, let's stick to the program here, and let's just talk about policy. The policy that we see in Washington is that RFK Jr. is pressuring different drugs to be released. He's the opposition to the $1 trillion industry. If you're not aware of this and you don't see this, and you are the type of person that is just waiting for the next vaccine, you are basically indoctrinated in a level of just watching 70% of our TV is commercials based on pharmaceutical medicines that have an unlimited amount of side effects. It's not even a natural medicine. It's a pharmaceutical-based chemical medicine and petroleum-based as well. So why are these rising costs happening, and why is there so much pressure now to fix our healthcare system? It's because chronic illness drives long-term cost. And like I said, if we don't do something soon, along with the snake bite, if you want to call it, the jab, you call it whatever you want. But what we're seeing is we created a petri dish of people that had these injections, and it's driving long-term health costs. We just changed our food pyramid, and that should significantly lower our long-term healthcare costs as well. So what is at the forefront? Chronic illness. And guess what? Here at Anti-Aging Bed, we have prided ourselves on working on this specific subject. We are the innovators and the pioneers of the medbed technology, and we already had set out to figure this out a long time ago. So for us, this is an afterthought, but for most every single other person in the world, this is something that they're scared of, and this is something that they may not even know that it exists. But the largest issue is that, 60 to 70% of Americans have one chronic disease. And of course, long-term healthcare causes that people have two or three. It was a great system for a long time, folks, and they charged your Visa card, every day. But the reality is, was it a truthful system? So what we realize is, like in anything, your incentives shape how we manage our healthcare system. A system that should go to prevention. And also, is there anyone that realizes this? When you go see the doctor, do they get paid on how quickly they take care of you? I mean, ask yourself, do they get incentivized by how quickly they take care of your health? Or is it something that they manage and don't really take care of? Do they let it get to a situation, a focal point, to get you into a surgery or a very expensive pharmaceutical? Ask yourself these questions. Policy is shifting toward outcomes, and that is one of those things where you just love to hear, because, if the system in general is shifting toward policy and toward, getting an outcome that's not the worst in the world. I repeat things sometimes so that you get it, but, here in America, not only is pharmaceuticals a $1 trillion+ industry annually, why have we not figured this out a long time ago? I thought we were the most advanced country in the world when it came to not only military technology, but healthcare technology. So when we shift our policy and our focus toward outcomes from a policy standpoint, we should all realize that this is a move in direction that we all kind of want. And what I'd say also is that if we can change the world, it likely won't be due to the government. When's the last time they helped anyone? I just was on the phone today with someone that was getting kicked out of the VA for bed sores. He was doing exactly what the VA was telling him. So, not only policy in traditional pharmaceuticals, but we realize that even our veterans have the worst healthcare system out there. Ask any veteran if their healthcare system is good. Ask any veteran if the politicians have better health insurance than the people that fought on the front lines of this country. You'll realize some important information. And that's not for me to decide. That's for you to look into and figure out. And breaking into AI and early detection, there's been quite a few talks about AI and how it relates to healthcare. And it was the people that were behind the AI, that created the AI, that even told us that the AI would essentially take over our healthcare system. So what we're seeing is something that we created. We're one of the tops, if not the top company in the world with AI assessment tools. And I pride myself in knowing this for a fact. You may not hear this anywhere else, but AI is a tool. And based on the information you put in the AI is what you get out. In life, you get out what you put in. And AI is no different. What you put into the AI in terms of information, data about a specific person is genuinely what you get out of it. Our AI speaks to people. And so, that is one of the ways that this is changing healthcare. And it is so amazing and it's so advanced, and get people every day just so blown away. And so AI focuses on early signals. Like I told you, the current system focuses on treatments and symptoms that never really get to the root issue of the problem. And when AI is just given information and it wants to get the body better, it doesn't focus on, well, ours doesn't focus on treatments and basically symptoms, because those are just math. Those are band-aids on the real issue that become chronic illness if you don't take care of them. You can cover up the issue, but if you can't understand the issue, then you're never going to take care of the issue. It's just blatantly obvious. So AI will always focus on the signals, and the body is electric. So if the body is focusing on signals, you must realize that the body is electric. So, as I can say, is another thing that AI is becomes pattern based. The more information, the more people that use the AI, the more patterns are detected within the general population. And because of that, a lot of the healthcare types of understanding in AI is going to be way more advanced than this current ugly system has ever been. This ugly sick care system is making a few people very rich and making us all sick. And so AI doesn't have an opinion on who should be treated better or who should make more money. The AI system relates to data and pattern recognition over the course of a whole population. And we realize this more than probably any other company. I am having this conversation with you today. No one else is really having this conversation. And what we realize is that we know how the body gets attacked with the current healthcare system based on the fake foods. Not only are they called frankenfoods, but they're man-made foods that the body doesn't relate to being natural. It clogs up our systems. It clogs up our lymphatic system. We, as an end result, get a chronic disease. And it's very sad. And here at Anti-Aging Bed, our goal, as you know, or if you haven't known, it is to reduce or end human suffering. And that's just a simple truth that we've been working on. You can get my first book, The Medbed Story, and how to end human suffering. Also, with this understanding, we'll realize that, there are a lot of things that you need to know and work on. We're here for each and every person. Tens of thousands of people worldwide have been here and have tried our products. We have people visit us each and every year, and it's an honor and it's a blessing to be working with you. Anti-Aging Bet is the sponsor of this podcast, and we recreated it, this whole new future of healthcare based on the understanding of frequency medicine. More so, we figured this out by creating the foundation of frequency medicine, which is grounding. Something that we had put a lot of time into, and our patents prove that we were on this much further ahead than any medbed understanding. If you don't have grounding, you can't have a medbed. Without our grounding patents, frequency medicine doesn't become real or safe. So how could someone say they have some type of military medbed when in fact you have to use my patents? So before any medbed talk, I already had my patents in 2013. And so the realization is our media is taken over by a false system. A third-party country has taken over our media. And just realize that, here in America, it's unfortunate that we can't have a clean media, a clean, unbiased media. It's really sad. But here we are. I was one of the most censored people the last 10 years, and I'm coming to you raw and live here at the Baxter Effect Podcast, showcasing all types of health information. And that leads us to our next subject here. Environmental-based health. And so, Baxter, what is environmental-based health? Well, it's your environment. It's the air you breathe. It's the ability to have a restful sleep surface that's comforting and supportive and has technology within it. There's light. Yeah, we get light outside, and there's fake lights in here, unfortunately. But light is so important. You know, we use the red light types of therapies and other types of terahertz. We use chromiotherapy. We even use blue light. Did you know blue light it stimulates your cells too? We hear all this negativity about blue light. There are some positive and negatives out there when it comes to light therapy, but that isn't changing your environment. All we've done here at Anti-Aging Bed is change the forces of nature. We've enhanced the typical forces of nature, where you sleep, what type of oxygen you breathe, what type of light you get, the ability to discharge frequencies, add frequencies, inhale the type of right vapors, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and make it crystalline in structure. We would like to understand that in our environment that we can reduce the stress and anxiety that are the core issues of not only our mental health, but also our physical health. So what we see is that there are emerging wellness center environments, and we at the forefront have already had this conversation with you. Find someone having this conversation with you, likely you won't, because we are so far ahead of everyone else that we had figured this out a long time ago. And that's why we created our MedBed system as pioneers of the MedBed. Find a MedBed person that suggests that they're MedBed that actually talks about what we talk about. They're not at our level. They're not at our level. I'm not an infomercial that I see on people online. I see people like Gary Brecka work for another company and sell a DNA or a genetic testing. I'm not that. I'm not charging $5.99 for a $99 genetic test for the 10x health. It's unfortunate. But I would never do that. That's not being in health. That's selling health. We're doing something about it by creating a humanitarian technology, and we've already done it. I've actually seen a couple people, unfortunately, he's a great spiritual guru, I would say. But he's not per se a health technologist. But he's out there positioning himself for sales in this new holistic healthcare industry. But so many of the things that he promoted ended up being hoaxes or scams. So, I won't give you a name there. But he is a spiritual per se guru with a lot of books. He has conventions. But he gets into health, and it's like he's into the money side of health, just like Gary Brecka. Yeah, they love it, but they're not like embodying it. They're in it for promotion. You'll never see me taking money just to show up to someone's wellness center because we don't need it. We literally have. Why would we go to one of these medical conventions when we have over 100 technologies? We are the Wellness Center Convention. That's why we created the MedBed. We put it all together. We understand everyone's technology already. So if it's technology that we know at the back of our hand, yet their person says their technology is a silver bullet, it's one of those things where you guys need to do your research and understanding. As an innovator, as an inventor, as a guy that healed himself without surgery, we have the passion, we have the team that wants to help humanity and human suffering and do it in a truthful and effective manner and with empathy, with understanding of healing our aging and chronic disease population, work side by side with those people for decades, and you might understand the understanding that we have, right? Like I said, I'm not an infomercial. What I am is a technology and innovator with a serious passion to help end human suffering. And thanks to Anti-Aging Bed, the sponsor of this program, for allowing me to do this at this level and speak to you clearly and concisely today. Please like, share, comment so I can give you more information, not only today, but tomorrow. And we'll be covering a special offer and gift at the end of this podcast. The other side of this is supportive, non-invasive inputs. Like we said, this environment that we have, we could offer different peptides, and we have our own peptides. We have exosomes, stem cells, we have supplements. We can change the terrain within the body, enhance the terrain outside of the body, change the environment. And when we change the environment with forces of nature, natural stuff, what we're doing is we're putting stuff in the body that the body needs, it knows what to do with. It brings the body back to purity. And I think that's what the world needs right now. Support, purity, and not an environment that focuses on treatments and surgeries and strong drugs, but an environment that supports you with people that have the real passion to help other people. So one of the things that we can understand about the future of healthcare is that it needs adoption and it needs credibility. I got a question the other day is like, are you competitors with Big Pharma? And I said, no, we're actually integrating with Big Pharma. We're taking the same doctors and nurses that are in Big Pharma and we're giving them an out and we're giving them another integrative technology. That's what we're doing. We're giving the doctor the ability to do what he said in the Hippocratic Oath of helping our common fellow citizen, friend, and neighbor in our local community with evidence, data, and in a safe manner. And that's why you got to realize with the technology that we offer, there's little or no side effects at all, where in the current system, you may need to take 2 or 3 other drugs just to counter the effects of another drug. How scary is that? With major implications and major side effects. So platforms moderate health claims. So realize that, all social media, realize at one time or another was out there. If anyone had a difference of opinion, you were attacked. Not because you were, basically because you were telling the truth. So realize that this is a common issue and something that needs to change. Cut this part. Sorry. And because the platform moderates these health claims, it comes to the point where you have to be careful what you say, but also, to further look down into the future, is it opens up the door for new ideas. New ideas like our MedBed technology are quickly becoming the future. And our MedBed concept is really a longevity circuit. We have a machine that can do everything, but also we have multiple machines too. Some of our MedBeds, most of our MedBeds have 9 technologies running at the same time to exponentially help you recover faster. And realize this longevity circuit goes with stuff, complete data. You have a complete snapshot of your data before and after. You have a full system of AI from beginning to end. You can talk to our AI. You have the ability to control basically your recovery. How cool is that? If you can see what you did now and see what you did later, it's a very crazy situation for some people, but it's a very more accurate system for so many other people. So this supports circulation and relaxation, and not only the stresses of the modern world. Once you reduce stress, you get sleep, you reduce your anxiety. So much of our mental exhaustion what we see gets uncovered and unraveled in our physical ailments. So this is an adjunct way to get yourself better back online, not a replacement for care, but it's an ever evolving healthcare solution. And realize the future combines the clinical early detection and this environmental slash terrain understanding that supports recovery. So, in a nutshell, there we have it. We had worked very hard towards showing you this type of understanding each and every day. You're going to see me on social media promoting and showcasing different types of technology. With 100 technologies, I have a lot to talk about. And on my own podcast, yeah, it's mainly me. Why? Because I'm here to educate and inform the public. Because really, a lot of times when we talk to doctors, they're just not at this level. And of course, having some doctors on here or having some important folks on here is important. But really, there is so much to cover of what we already created. You're here hearing it from the horse's mouth, the true inventor, the leader of the team. And realize there is so much to cover that really a lot of the people that have their own podcasts, talking to other people, they truly need to catch up to us. And with that being said, please like, share, comment, get the message out. And I told you I'd give you an amazing option at the end of this podcast today, the Baxter Effect Podcast. And that gift is to understand your health at the highest levels. We do an AI health assessment by taking a few samples of your hair and nails, a couple fingernails, a couple hair samples. And we do this remotely, so you don't even have to see us. But we do offer free medbed demonstrations. Free. We've done it over 5 years now. We've had over tens of thousands of people here trying the medbed for free. We do everything that we tell you we do. Those that are vetted enough, you can set an appointment. You can set an appointment by messaging us below, calling us at 800-385-4243, emailing us at info@antiagingbed.com. And if you want the free scan, it's a $500 value. It's free. I hope you read and speak English. It's free. The demonstration for the medbed is free. The AI health assessment is free. So, I answer this question 24 hours a day. If it's a real medbed, it's free. You're talking to the guy that's offered it for free for 5 years. I don't know where you get your information online, but we cite our sources. I have patents since 2013. No medbed was spoken about till 2020. Straight from the horse's mouth. Look it up. It's true. And that's all we have today, folks. Realize with this free offer, it is limited time. And reach out to us now. Please like, share, comment, get the message out, subscribe. Subscribe now. And I want to thank you once again for joining the Baxter Effect Podcast. Your host, John Baxter.